Welcome. In front of me is a Motorola Edge 40 Neo, and today I'll show you a couple tweaks and tricks you can do on this phone. So, to get started, I'm going to begin by opening up settings, and we can start off with the display section right over here. Here we have a couple different things that I'm going to showcase. So, first of all, we have the dark mode right here if you want to enable that, but additionally we also have a schedule dark mode. So if you want to have it switch between these two modes on a timer, you can set that up here, and this will basically allow you to, for instance, have a dark mode during the nighttime so you don't get flashbanged by your own device, and during the daytime it will automatically switch back to the light mode, giving you a better clarity, for instance when it's like sunny outside. Now moving on to the next option, it's going to be the display refresh rate. By default it's going to be set to auto, which is pretty good. I'm not going to argue with that one, but if you are the person that wants to prioritize battery life, you might be interested in changing it to 60, which will give you a little bit of a better screen on time compared to the auto or any of the other ones. Now if you want to utilize high refresh rate and still have relatively decent battery life, I recommend sticking with the auto. This switches between 60 and 120. Now for 140 it looks like you do need to go with the standalone one, so smooth, highest battery consumption, but it's basically the smoothest. Personally, I wouldn't recommend it just because the additional 24 frames that you will be getting per second is not noticeable, but the battery drain probably will be. Moving on to another thing, also under the display, it's the color, or colors here, and by default almost every device is set to saturated, and personally I don't really like saturated. I like to have it more on a natural tone, and you do have the option to do so right here. This will lower the saturation of colors, make them a little bit more toned down, might look a little bit more just kind of bland to some people. I personally like it that way, so that's what I'm going to stick with. And in addition, you also have the color temperature right here, which you can utilize with either the saturated or natural mode, and this just allows you to either make it a little bit more warm or cold, so basically more reddish or more bluish colors. For reading, you probably might be interested in like cranking that up to the warmest it can get. This will give you this kind of yellowish tint to the display, and might be a little bit easier on the eyes when you're spending a lot of time reading stuff. Now moving on to next thing, it's going to be the personalization section, which is in the main settings page right over here above display. And here you have a bunch of different things that will allow you to customize how your device looks and feels. So I'm gonna just touch upon a couple of them, but I do urge you to basically go over all of these just so you can check out and customize it to basically be the exact way that you want it, obviously with the limits of what it allows you to do. So a couple interesting things in here. We have things like colors. This allows you to select colors for different, for instance, toggles, like the colors right here or in the settings. You have a couple pre-made ones. We also have wallpaper based colors right here, and you can just change them. As an example, automatically gives you the difference, how it will look like, and now you can see that it automatically changed. We have things like fingerprint animations when you're just pressing your finger to the display. We have display or fonts for the text. Additionally, we also have the shapes for different icons. Now this refers to icons on a display, which I don't think it actually will affect. I think it will affect this only, but I might be wrong. Oh wait, no, never mind. So it looks like it's going to affect the icons itself, so the other way around. So there we go, we can change the icon shapes. Now in here there might be also addition that if you download some icon packs, you might be able to change them here, but I don't have any, so I'm not necessarily sure about that. Anyway, moving on. Next thing that I'm going to show is the sidebar. So we're going to navigate to gestures, and here we have a sidebar. It is turned off by default, but you can enable it. Now when you enable it, it gives you this info like, cool, it's here. Yes, I know, I just enabled it. I'm pretty sure what it is. And now you can get annoying trash. Cool, got it. And here you can access a bunch of your applications that you might be using often, and you can just pop them open If you actually tap on them, unlike me, there we go. It opens them up in a pop-up view, as you can see. You can move it around. We can shrink it, make it bigger, and obviously this works over top of other applications that you have open in the background. We can also minimize this if I figured out how. Like this. So we just kind of have to grab the edge and shrink it, and then it changes into an app head. Now we can also maximize it, or we actually have the minimize button right here. We have the minimize button, we have the maximize, so full screen, and the other one was close, so obviously just turns off this window altogether. Now going back to gestures, we have also system navigation in here. So if you have been using, for instance, button navigation, that's what default is selected when you're doing the setup, and maybe you haven't changed it, you can change it right over here to gesture navigation if you want to, or maybe vice versa. Maybe you have enabled it but you don't like it, you can swap it to 3-button nav right here. And in addition, under gesture navigation, because that's basically what I primarily use, we have a couple additional options. So we have sensitivity for back gesture, meaning this motion. So you can select the sensitivity, or like the area in which your finger needs to start the swipe from, to outside of that area to activate the gesture. Now when you start moving it, as you will see, it will show you this blue bar, and this bar indicates where your finger needs to be to actually and swipe out of it to activate the gesture. Now for me, the default one, the middle point is pretty okay, so that's what I'm going to keep it at. And below that we have also hiding the navigation bar, so this little bar right here, you can hide it. It gives you a cleaner look at the device, but other than that it provides you with no additional benefit. It just, for aesthetic purposes, I like to turn that off, meaning the bar. And that would basically sum up everything that I want to show you. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.